Dr. Bayero Gabi, and my friends from the industry that are here gathered. I had to let go an NSC event in Akwa Ibom State in order to be in this event. That event is going on even as I'm speaking. The gentleman from NIGDA, you consoled me, and you also fired my imagination. But you know what? We have to start doing things that are down to earth and very practical. I was secretary to government for about 5 years and 4 months, and I left the industry to assume that responsibility, and I have seen where the disconnect is. Very serious disconnect between the IT industry and those in government. 67% of our youth, or of the Nigerian population rather, are considered youth. And then we keep on saying that they will be the leaders, or they are the leaders of tomorrow. The question is, are we grooming them, we the leaders of today, for them to take responsibility to provide leadership in the future? Sadly, we're not doing that sufficiently. Number two, I want to make 2 quotes, and I'll combine both. They say often that a hungry man is what? Good. A hungry man is an angry man. And they say often that an idle mind is what? The devil's workshop. Okay? Ancient statement. So, and I want to mix the two. If a hungry man is an angry man, and an idle mind is the devil's workshop, then combine the two, it means that a hungry, idle mind is an angry devil's workshop. Very serious statement. It means that a hungry, idle man, all right, is an angry devil workshop. Because he's hungry, therefore he's angry. And he's idle, therefore he's a devil's workshop. So when a young man or woman is both hungry and idle because he doesn't have a job, no sense of purpose, no encouragement, no inspiration, so he becomes both hungry and idle. And when he's both hungry and idle, he becomes an angry devil's workshop. That's why you have banditry, they call it, Boko Haram, they call it, armed robbery, they call it, whatever you want to call it, you restiveness. That is the bane of our society today. So when I listen to my colleague from NIGDA talking or speaking or addressing us, I said, well, that is good. But when he talked about the Startup Act, something came to my mind. Bayero, Dr. Gabi, I hope you may probably know, I have not read that act. But the fact is that I do not know what part of our GDP or what percentage of our accumulated revenue annually is allocated to finance the content of the Startup Act. That's a very serious matter, serious one. Because you cannot fire the startups where there are no resources for them to become entrepreneurs. And we used to say in this industry that the digital literacy is equal to functional literacy and computer literacy. And that is as it stands. So you can have a PhD, but you are not computer literate. You are a digital illiterate. It's as simple as that. So, yes, you are a digital illiterate, even with your PhD. So when you are functionally literate with your PhD and master's on so many degrees, and also computer literate, you can manipulate and do good things on your keypad or keyboard, then you are computer literate, generally speaking. So when you combine the two, you are a digital literate person. But if you are functionally literate, but you are not computer literate, you are a digital illiterate, and you do not belong to this generation. And I always say that those who refuse to adapt, the fate of dinosaurs awaits them. And the young people of today, I respect them and admire them a lot. And during political campaign, you see a good percentage of the young people. In fact, I'll call them ocean of young people. And I used to feel disturbed. 1:30 p.m. on a work day of a week, you're having an ocean of young people in the political campaign who should be in factories and industries. I feel pain. I'm not excited by that. If you love your country and you're a patriot and you belong to this ICT space, that should not excite you. So brilliant as they are, I think my friend from NIDA said they will not jagba. And Professor Mrs. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala said she's have a flip word for those who want to come back, which she said is kappa. So if you do not jagba, you should kappa. You know what? Nobody wants to abandon what is good. Nobody runs away from what is good. So those young people leave, talents leave our nation because they are going to what we call greener pastures. It makes sense. That is a fact. So provide an enabling environment in our IT space. The gentleman from NIDA, I can tell you that paper, I would like to have a copy of it, maybe post it on the website of this event. This is what I want to say to the industry. Abuja, Lagos are grossly insufficient. Look at the number of young people here. When I walked in, I was about to be discouraged. I said, no, let me remember what my postdoc professor told me in Europe. He said, Emmanuel, in a gathering that is of this type, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. They may have some young people here who need the message of today. So it's not determined by the number of young people who come, who show up here. But if it were a political campaign, or a political meeting, or distribution of palliatives, I can tell you, you will not be able to have access to Oriental Hotel. But can I tell you something? What matters, what we need, is this kind of event nationwide. So my friend from NIDA, the pioneer DG of NIDA was my supervisor, was my second master's degree supervisor. Professor Gilbert Olalere Ajayi was my supervisor, and he was the pioneer DG of NIDA and FNSE. He was an engineer. So what I want to say is this. By Dr. Gabi, you have been a doyen of this industry. You are the only person on earth that will bring me from my home state today to be standing here. You know what? A time has come for the industry to start, I wouldn't say melt, but to start collaborating and partnering. A time has come. NIDA, my friend from NIDA, have a lot of work to do. A lot. I listened to you, Chronicle, and the gentleman from NCS did a very good presentation too. I'm proud of NCS. I'm a fellow of both NSC and a fellow of NCS. So, and I know that those two organizations, we have to begin to work closely and partner. We have to. You see, the startups within the software ecosystem, subsystem, they're doing well. They're not doing badly. But you know what, the gentleman from NIDA, there are Nigerians here who are developing apps, and they're being bought in the US for peanuts. And if you see what those who bought those apps, what millions they are making. So it's an area for you to look into. I call that bit DG colonialism. You know, you have slave trade, you have commencement of independence, you have new colonialism, and I call it DG colonialism. You know what? You export expertise without physical movement, and that which you export is paid for as peanuts, and someone makes millions out of what you develop. And if you expose those young people, I can tell you they will price their sweat equity appropriately. So my suggestion is this: one, NSC, NCS, NIDA. As I said, you're doing a lot in Abuja, Lagos axis. 36 local government, 36 states of Nigeria, and 36 state capitals. Can I tell you something? Lots and lots are not happening there. In other words, there are lots for you to do in the state capital. They should grant you sufficient budget to start what I call a rippling upwards, centrifugal movement to 36 state capitals. 2, who are the commissioners of science and tech and ICT in those states? As I said, I've been in government, and I know how government works. The presidency will go through the governor to the ministries. But we, as professional entities and organizations, and you, as a regulatory agency, both NICDA and NCC, and then the industry associations like NCAs and NSE, what are we doing in those 36 state capitals? Number 2, 774, you said it too, 774 local government areas. If you see the creativity from young people, but they are not mentored, they are not exposed. Nobody has tutored them. They are underutilized. I like young people because they are creative, they are hardworking, they are imaginative, they are innovative. But there's another thing I like about them. They are impatient. Impatience is good for progress. You know what? They say, wow, good idea. And they approve of it, and they gave me a letter of acceptance. Arrived in Nigeria, ran to NCC. Oh, good, Great Affair, this is good. Great Affair. I'm an IFE graduate, so Great Affair, this is brilliant, this is good. The same thing with NICDA. You know what? He died there. Nothing happened. The Germans wanted to find out where are the exhibition centers. They wanted to know, because a typical exhibition hall should have provision for what they call story booth. I hope you know what I'm talking about. You have ground floor and you have a first floor. All part of the exhibition stand. And government support and the regulators support. But thank God, the NICDA gentleman talked about GITEX Nigeria. We will be there and we'll give you all the amount of support. It's absolutely necessary. It's part of industry development and growth. There was a time when Nigeria was the largest and fastest growing ICT or IT market in the world in terms of growth during the revolution. And there was no event here. That was shortly after CTO, the famous CTO in Museum Center. We were moving very fast. Not even a single event is holding in Nigeria that attracts all the whole world to Nigeria. So GITEX was also discussed, and I'm happy that NICDA has been able to corner GITEX in Nigeria, or maybe there's a one in Marrakesh. And let me use a common English. I yapped NCC in one event here last year. Said, you are running to GITEX Africa in Marrakesh as a delegation. You are not ashamed that Nigeria, big as you are, you are going to Morocco to be part of GITEX Africa. That's what you ought to have cornered into this country as GITEX Africa to be held in Nigeria. So to have a GITEX in Nigeria in September is a very healthy development. It's part of the growth of the industry. It's part of the development of the, for us to know what abound. Interesting. And what NICDA is doing, what the NCS, the various workshops and modules of NCS will address this and attract these young people. So the young people I talk to you, they are there at the back, and I address them directly. Please, these are my avuncular and uncle's recommendations to young people. Number 1, do not give up. Can you get me? Do not give up. Number 2, remain creative and positive. Have a positive attitude towards life. Number 3, know and learn how to partner. There are certain things you cannot do on your own. Like the Israelis would say, 100% of nothing is 0, but 10% of something is something. Am I right? Learn how to partner. 2, 3 of you galvanize energy and resources, and you can do what one of you alone would not have been able to do. 4, learn how to do what the World Bank teaches. Think big, start small, and do what? Grow fast. Have a big picture. Don't give up. Bill Gates started business in his father's garage. I don't want to mention names so that I will not be seen as the marketing someone, Now some of Africa's very richest, so to say, or Nigeria's very rich. They were selling biscuits. They were selling audio cassettes. There's somebody that owns an airline in the UK who was selling audio cassettes. So never you give up. Be determined to excel. Number 5, open a bank account. That is your business bank account. Do not mix business account with personal account. And learn how to serve. Number 6, be patient with respect to having to learn the ropes. Many of you, as soon as you start working with Bayero Gabi or NCC or NIDA, you want to become CEO overnight. I like that. But you know what? Learn the ropes. Master the market. Be known in the market. If you are too impatient, then you fall from frying pan to fire. So learn and master the market. Key person. Those of us in NCS, NSC, NIDA, NCC, adopt one of them and be a mentor. Provide guidance. Provide counseling. Inspire them. Motivate them. So Dr. Bayero Gabi, being a doyen of industry, what I recommend to you to do, you are respected by all of us, be it ATCON or Alton or NCS or ITAN or NIDA or NCC. Bayero Gabi was a young reporter when I used to come from. One fell off the table in time to synchronize the mouse to the mass part. So, Bayero Dr. Gabi, what you do is this. Let industry associations, we have never talked to ourselves. I want to have an event organized by you, or inspired by you, or moderated by you, where you have the major industry bodies present, so that we can have a roadmap for the future of industry. NIDA, NCC, Galaxy Backbone, NICOMSAT. I don't hear much about NICOMSAT these days. Then NCS, ATCON, Alton, NIG. Assemble them. Start with their ESCO first. And we start addressing the challenges that face our country. We cannot move from where we are to where we intend to be, like Albert Einstein said, by doing what we have been doing all this while, and we expect a different result. Albert Einstein said, if you persist in doing